Module 2, projects. You can think of a project in Jira as just a container for issues or units of work and those records that you create. And every project can contain one, more, many hundreds, thousands of issues or records of units of work. Every issue is contained within one and only one project. So project B might have 5 issues in it, and project C would have 4 completely different issues of it. An issue record cannot exist in multiple projects. Having said that, when we come on to look at boards, roadmaps, and searching and reports, you can create boards, roadmaps, reports, dashboards that span multiple projects for reporting purposes. So one report or one dashboard or one board that we create can include data from across multiple projects. So whilst initially this might seem like a limitation, as we build on our knowledge of Jira, we'll find that there are very clever ways to work with Jira so that you've got that cross-project functionality that I'm sure you'll require at some stage. But for now, think of a project as a container for a set of issues, and each project will have a number of different configurations that allow you to set up those issue types that we spoke about, workflow that we're going to talk about in the next module, the access for certain people to that particular project, and a set of fields and custom data that you may want for a particular project. And every project we create will contain its own definition for all of these different aspects that you'll set up for your project. Now when we come to create a project, we can create directly from the projects drop down, selecting create project, and because there's a lot of complexity around those workflows, issue types, access privileges, fields, etc. Jira presents you with a number of templates that can start you off with all of that pre-configured. So we can select the type of project template, select a template from the list, and what Jira presents us with is a summary of how that project's going to be configured. So in this instance, I will get the epic, story, bug, task and subtask issue types. I will get a workflow which includes to do, in progress and done, and I can use that template to build out a project based on those pre-configured settings. Now in another attempt to simplify the setup of Jira, there's 2 types of projects. You can have a team managed project or you can have a company managed project. And in general, a team managed project is simpler to administer. Company managed gives you more flexibility, more complexity, but you're probably going to need to go to a Jira administrator to get any configuration changes you need. We'll start with team managed, which is the simplest way to get started with Jira, and we're asked for a project name. I enter that project name and Jira will come up with a key, a proposed key for that project, and we can use this to identify all of the issues within this project, which I'll show you in a minute. Provide an access level, so make this open to anyone with access to my instance of Jira, and then when I click on create, it's going to base my project on this template. It's going to create it as a team managed, which is the more simplified administrator approach or administration approach for managing projects, and give it the name, access, and a key so that we can start creating issues within this project. So with my project created, we'll see that we're presented with the initial page which we can navigate through the project entities on the left hand panel. So we've got a number of different views. We've got the timeline view, which is a Gantt chart view. We've got the backlog, which is a list of all of the issues that we are planning to work on in the future. We have a board view, which is what we're doing now. It's a graphical way of dragging and dropping and representing the work we're going to be undertaking. There's a list view, which is a sort of spreadsheet-like view of all of our issues. And then we've got the issues view, which as we create our first issue, we'll see in a minute. So again, we can create our first issue from the create button at the top. It's going to be created in my project. We've got our issue types. In this particular instance, I want to create a task. So it might be create the database to store all our data. So I give it a summary, I give the status, so we haven't started work yet, so it's going to be in a to-do state, and then I might give some description about what we're going to be working on here. So I'll just put create DB for now. I create that issue, I see the pop-up, so I can go straight to the issue if I want to. Right click on that, open a new tab, and that issue then I can view, update and modify from here. So I could assign the work to myself, I can create and link it to a parent if necessary. I can even start to estimate the amount of work that might be involved here. But you will notice that, as I mentioned, we've got a project key, which was that MYP when we set it up, and each issue we create now will be given a particular ID based on that key, and a unique ID for each issue, which is sequentially created every time we create an issue. So my create database to store your data has a unique key of MYP1, and it's a unique way for me to reference this issue record in Jira. So what I've done in the background is create a few more issues, and if we go back to the issue list view here, we'll see that I've got 3 issues in this particular project, and I can navigate across those, and I'm presented with a search bar at the top and some options for searching across my issues. So like I say, we can search across multiple projects. We can search for the type, so that's the issue type. So maybe I just want to search for tasks. I can search based on the status, so whether it's done, in progress or to do, and I can search by who it's assigned to. So if I just want to look for issues that are assigned to me, I can select current user and I see only the issues that are assigned to me. Or likewise, if I wanted to search for issues that are unassigned to see who's not, or which tasks have not been assigned to anyone yet, I can select unassigned there and perhaps then come in and assign those tasks to myself. So that's the main issue view. We've also got the list view, which, as I said, is like a spreadsheet-like view, and you can bulk update like you do in Excel, for example. So I might come in here, I can update the status directly from this grid-like view. I can update the reporter, the assignees, due dates, etc. We have a board view, which is a graphical drag and drop view. I have nothing on my board yet because I have to, in this particular type of project, set things up from the backlog and assign them to a sprint. So this is a particular feature for this type of template that we created our project with. And this is all based around Scrum. And when I start a sprint, which is a period of work where we're going to carry out a set number of tasks, I can then look at those on the board, and I have this graphical drag and drop view to start tracking, updating and managing the progress of work that I'm carrying out. And then we have the timeline view, which will allow you to view in a Gantt chart style display the issues that you've created. At the moment there's a limitation on this, in as much as they must be contained within a parent epic or a higher level issue type. But even if you don't have that concept in your project, you can create a sort of dummy parent level issue type so that a standard issue that you create does have linkage to a parent, so that the epic and then the child standard issue types show up on your timeline. But the thing to remember here is all of these views are just that. They are different views of issues that you have created in Jira that represent units of work. And you can visualize all of those records that you've created either in this standard issues view, the list view, the board view, backlog and timeline views. And what we're going to look at next then is the concept of updating your issues and transitioning them through a life cycle or a workflow, as it's known in Jira, as they'll go through different status values and transition from a to-do to in progress to done, or a more complex workflow that we could set up in Jira if we need it.